Hello everyone, it's Eleanor McGarry. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Canada, and today we're going to make this box using the Sweet as a Peach stamp set. I originally ordered the designer series paper as well, but they didn't arrive in time, so we're going to make our own using the stamps in the set, as well as this cute little tag for the front. And of course, inside the box, we're going to have a jar of jam. We're now going to stamp on basic white cardstock to create our pattern paper. And what we're going to use is this triple peach image as well as the leaves. And colors that we're going to be using are Pear Pizzazz, Calypso Coral, and Mango Melody. So let's bring in some scrap paper to protect our surface. First thing, of course, we're going to do is stamp the leaves everywhere. Now, I just inked up this Pear Pizzazz stamp, so it might be very juicy. I don't know. Let's see. Looks okay. So just go ahead and stamp your leaves all throughout your white cardstock. So you get the idea. We're just going to stamp that all over our white. And of course, the reason why we're doing this is, like I said, I haven't received my pattern paper yet, and because the project that I want to make involves having a design all over my paper, let's just make our own pattern paper in the meantime. Once my pattern paper comes in, I'll likely do another blog post featuring how I'll use the pattern paper. But for the sake of this video, it's nice to actually see how you can create pattern paper just using, whatever you've got at the moment. So now we've stamped all our leaves. So now we're going to start with the peaches, and I like to do that by first inking it up in Calypso Coral. And then I take my Mango Melody ink and a Stampin' Sponge, and I just kind of dab some yellow all over because I want some parts of that image to be yellow. And so now you're just going to align that as best as you can all over top of the leaves. And I'm just going to kind of guesstimate here. And this isn't going to be a perfect looking image to begin with because I'm still trying to kind of place it, but let's try. So there's the first one. So like I said, all you're doing is you're going to be repeating this process and making sure that you have your image of peaches stamped on all the leaves. So just keep going like so until the entire basic white is full of your peach images attached to your leaves. So again, it's just stamping on Calypso Coral, taking in your Mango Melody ink pad and a stamping sponge or whatever sponging tool you've got, and then going ahead and aligning that over top of the leaf image on your cardstock to create your pattern all over your paper. So we're going to go ahead and keep doing that all throughout, and then we'll come back and I'll show you what's next. So now we have our entire piece of white cardstock all stamped, and the next step that I do is, everybody knows, I also like to use the splatter stamp. This is the splatter stamp that comes in the Forever Fern stamp set. And I like to splatter the background just to give it a little bit more character and fill up some of the white space. So the way I do that is you just go ahead and ink up. I'm going to ink up with Pear Pizzazz, stamp off a little bit off the paper because you want the splatters on your work to be faint. You don't want them to be full strength. So just a little bit of splattering now, just randomly everywhere. everywhere where you feel like you want to kind of add a bit of color where you just have the white. You see what I did there, guys? I inked up the leaves in coral instead of green because I wasn't paying attention. And that's fine, you know. Handmade card, no such thing as a mistake. Just happy accidents, I like to say. So after I stamp it with the splatter stamp, I will also take my blending brush and just kind of add some green. I always when you ink up your blending brush on your pad like that, just go off on scrap paper first and pull the color in. Don't go right onto your project because that's going to be full strength ink and it's just too stark. You'll have this big blob of darker ink and then it's just not going to look that great. So off your project first and then pull into your work. It's a long weekend here in Canada. It's Victoria Day long weekend, and as you know, Canada is still part of the British Commonwealth, so we celebrate Queen Victoria's birthday the last Monday in May, that falls before May 25th. Queen is still our queen. She's still on our money. And, you know, not really a follower of what's happening in the royal family, but I am following what's happening, though, with Prince Harry and Meghan, but that's not really because they're royalty, but just because I'm just nosy. I mean, if that was happening to my neighbors, I'd probably want to find out, too, because, you know, Eleanor wants to know. Anyways, you can see I've got the green. And then you'll see that the white is a little bit green now, and I just think it adds to the overall color, the overall look rather. So now we're going to cut this up to the correct size pieces that'll fit our project, and we'll put our box together. To make our box, we are going to use a full 8.5 by 11 cardstock in Pear Pizzazz, and you are going to score that on the long side, so the 11-inch side, every 2.5 inches. So let's go 2.5. Use our scoring blade, and 5, because you're doing it every 2.5 inches. So just keep adding 2.5 inches to that. So 2.5, and then at 5, and then at 7.5. And finally, the last score at 10 inches. And then you're going to turn that around, and on the short side, we are going to be scoring at 1.5. And then you turn that around, and on the other side, we are going to score at 2.25. So let's go ahead and use our bone folder to make sure all those creases are now folded properly. I want to make sure that you don't have to worry about putting this box together when the time comes. Okay, so now you've got all of that scored. Now we're going to go ahead and trim. So you're going to miter the corners so that it'll be easy to put this all together with glue at the end. I'll have the pattern to this on my blog. The link will be underneath in the description. go ahead and miter all those corners. Same on the top. Oops, let's do that again because I'm not happy with the cut that I made. That's better. So that box is all set to be glued together. However, we don't want to do that. This is how it's going to look like when it's all put together. And we're going to glue all that. But we don't want to do that until we've glued our patterned paper onto the sides. And we want 4 of this patterned paper. The dimensions of each of these sides is 4 3/4 by 2.5. So we want to go ahead and cut just a touch over 4 underneath. Sorry, a touch under 4 3/4 because we want a border on each side when we glue our pattern paper. And then a touch under 2.5, and I'll have the measurements on the screen. So we need 4 of that. For each of the 4 sides of our box. Oops, let's do that again. Okay, so we have our 4 pieces of pattern paper, which we are going to go ahead and put our box together. They'll go in each of these sides here. So we'll do that in the next segment. We'll put our box together and we'll show you how to make the tag. We're going to go ahead and create the tag that's in the box, this tag here. And this is what you need to create that tag. You can ignore the bottom of this because I already done something to that, which I'll show you later. So this die is from the Ornate Layers die. And these dies here come in they're part of the peach dies that come with the Sweet as a Peach bundle. This is it here, as well as these dies, of course. So this was cut out using pale papaya, and the leaf is pear pizzazz. That, of course, is Memento Black. I just stamped the greeting to a sweet friend on white cardstock. And these here are stamped in using this peach stamp and the leaf stamp in pear pizzazz. And again, this is done using the Calypso Coral with a little bit of Mango Melody sponged in. So to create the tag, it's very simple. You've already got your components here. And this tag here, it's quite large, but I only want to use the top part. See, I've already done it here. And what you want to do is just cut another piece of pear pizzazz, just a tiny piece. See how small that is? And the reason why I have that is because I want to have the border a bit more pronounced so you can see it. And I also did a little bit of distressing using the blender brush and pear pizzazz. And we're not going to need all of that, so we're just going to cut it out. No need to be too specific here. It's all going to be covered by the peach. And I'm going to cut that. So what we're going to do is we want to be putting our peach on one side like that. And the way I attach this to the peach is, once again, good old Scotch tape. So I want to go ahead and, so that's all taped together. This will go on this side of the card and it'll cover the bottom, like I said. Don't have to worry about that. And I use my Stampin' Dimensionals. And of course, let's use our Take Your Pick tool to get rid of that adhesive backing. And that will go like right there. And then this little greeting here will go right over that border. So you don't care if it's not even straight because it's going to be covered up anyway. And I'm only going to add a bit of glue to the, I added a bit of glue. Use your mono liquid glue, multi-purpose glue. And then just go ahead and adhere it to the side of the tag so that it covers the bottom. You can put a dimensional underneath that as well. And then, of course, we're going to do the same with the leaves. I already got some glue behind the leaves. And I'm going to go ahead and glue that there. And I've also got some glue, put some glue behind your flower. Put that there. And your last step, of course, is add a little pearl in the center of your flower there. And that's the tag that we're going to be adhering to the box. So the final step to the card, of course, is we're going to go ahead and glue it together. I've gone ahead and glued all the pieces of white cardstock that we've stamped previously onto each of the sides of the box. This is the tag that we made. Let's bring in our glue, liquid glue. Go ahead and just add some glue to the back. And that will go, oops, on one panel of the box. And to actually create the box, all you need to do is, I hope that doesn't move because it's still kind of wet and it's still repositionable, but I think we'll be fine, is to close the box, just go ahead and fold the one side over, and you're going to add glue to this tab. Now you can use your Stampin' Seal or any tape runner that you prefer. I'm using the liquid glue, which is my glue of choice. Go ahead and apply pressure. That didn't move. So now we're just going to add glue to the bottom and close up the bottom. Now once you've added glue to the bottom and now that's all sealed, I like to just take my jam and let it sit in there because the weight of the jam will help seal that bottom shut. And of course your final step is just your ribbon. The ribbon that I use to hold it shut is some pale papaya. And this is the ribbon here. It's one of the new ribbons, really pretty, pale papaya. So the way I do that is I just lay it flat on my surface. Go ahead and put the box over top. And just make sure I'm gonna try and make sure that's in the center. And all I'm doing is adding a little bow on the top to hold it shut. And just a simple bow on top. There you go. And there's your pretty little box. Now, I'm going to open this up again because I'm going to show you the jam. If you wanted to recreate this, of course, the jam that I bought was the Smucker's Peach Jam. And it's 250 milliliter size, and that's the jam that'll fit in our box. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Just click on the red button on the bottom right. And all the supplies that we used to make this project are in the description below. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you at the next video.